Welcome, everybody. This is Phyllis Pieri, the franchise lady, and I am super excited today because I'm going to be interviewing Jerod Evanich. I'm so good on names. And he is the CEO of A Place at Home. Welcome, Jerod. I'm really happy that you're here and that you're going to be doing this interview with me. My goal for these interviews is for people to get to know you as a person and for them to understand why they would want to be interested in joining your company. So his company is A Place at Home. And Jerod, before you started your franchise, what were you doing?
Yeah, so before we started A Place at Home, I was actually selling real estate. I got my broker's license out of college, and I started selling real estate in 2008, which, as you know, is one of the worst times to be in real estate. A lot of people exiting real estate, housing bubble and recession and so many other crazy things going on at the time. But it really taught me a lot, launching a business in real estate during that time, how to, be agile and just do what it takes to grow a business, literally going door to door in neighborhoods and talking to people and just building my network and helping to allow others to avoid short sales and foreclosures and working with investors and banks and a lot of that thing. And so it was a great experience. Did that for many years, started my own real estate team during that time, and really wasn't heading anywhere else in my life other than, real estate. I was enjoying it, doing well, and didn't really have any reason to do anything else until
And you're
A
an
Place at Home
entrepreneur.
came about.
There you
Yes,
go.
yeah, absolutely. So whether it be that or, a handful of other businesses we had kind of started along the way, but absolutely, pretty much always done my own thing.
Good for you. So
Yeah.
tell us, what changed in your life that made you want to start a business like you're A Place at Home?
Yeah. Oh, great question. So I was actually realizing, number one, that I wasn't the grandson I once was. My grandparents made a huge impact and still do to this day in my life. Growing up, they provided me so many different opportunities. They're both personal and professional mentors of mine.
Are they
But again,
entrepreneurs?
they are not. They were both in education. The majority of my
Okay.
family is in education. My grandfather, he was the athletic director for the largest school district here in the Omaha Metro. He was for years. My mother, she was an assistant superintendent for many years before going on to be a dean at a college. So education's kind of been in my blood. I'm really one of the only ones, other than my dad. My dad did start a cleaning company back when I was in elementary school, and to this day still operates that in Omaha, Nebraska. So he's the entrepreneurial kind of source within us. But no, my grandparents and just all the different things that they've been able to provide to me throughout the years taught me how to golf and fish. We traveled the United States. We camped all over the place and just owed so much to them. And it was around 2011 when I realized, when I was really getting busy in real estate and starting to grow a family, that there wasn't enough of me to be to go around. I couldn't be that grandson I once was, and it was weighing on me. So at that time, really started looking at different options and seeing home care as a fantastic option to provide that extra assistance, as what opened my eyes to an entirely new industry. And very shortly thereafter said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to do it better. I want to be able to offer this to not only my family, but to our community. And so A Place at Home was born.
I love that. It's very interesting. I think there's a common thread with all of you in this industry, that there is something in your family or a situation that happens. I know when I'm interviewing candidates and doing consultations, that's one of the things that I look for, because I touch on, I apologize for the noise in the background. I have dogs and children here. Anyway,
It's okay.
Just a little caveat. But I know when I'm doing a consultation with somebody, I always drill down on senior care to make sure they understand what it's all about and the different ways you can go about it. And typically, I'm sure you've seen that when they've had a loved one that they've had to deal with, they go one of two ways. They either go, no, I just can't deal with that, or, oh my God, if I could offer that to somebody else, that would be fabulous. So yeah, for
Most
sure.
certainly.
That's great. So why did you decide to go the franchise route?
So that was years of discussion and debate between my business partner, co-founder, and childhood friend Dustin DeStefano and I. For a very long time, we went back and forth. Do we grow internally? Do we keep adding additional locations? What is the best way to be able to provide our services to the masses? Always having that at kind of our end goal is to be able to do that. And so we did a lot of research. There were years of research into franchising, into different growth models. And ultimately, we found that number one, the success rate in franchise owners compared to your traditional entrepreneur starting from the ground up was about 3 times more likely to succeed. So that was important to us. Also, the buy-in that it takes to really give exceptional care, we found in owners versus managers. So someone that has stake in the game, it's their business. They are growing it. They are the face. They are a part of their community. And when that phone rings at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and they're ready to wrap things up for the weekend and it says, hey, we have somebody who needs care starting as soon as possible, the owners are willing to do what it takes to get that person the care. We didn't see that in just kind of that traditional growth model with maybe having a manager in charge of that location. So franchising, and for all those reasons, really, showed us that was the growth model that we wanted to be in.
Nice. And did you join the IFA and have you participated in any of their conventions?
Absolutely. We actually joined the IFA before we decided to franchise. We were utilizing a lot of their resources.
Good for you.
They have an entire list of different vendors and people who to connect with for the process of becoming a franchise and support thereafter. We actually won Next Gen in franchising in 2018 through the IFA. So got to go on stage and be able to really bring our brand to the IFA community, and hundreds and thousands of people who attend. It was awesome. It was fantastic. Gave us a lot of resources. We've been going to the IFA events every single year. So very, very involved with the IFA for sure.
It's interesting. When I got my CFE and I was standing in line, and that's many years ago, and we would go up on, we'd pass up on stage. I was standing behind a couple that had started a dry cleaning, some sort of a natural dry cleaning franchise. And they were getting their CFE. And I said, oh, that's really interesting. And you're a new franchise. And they went, yep, we joined the IFA. We worked on getting our certification. And it has been so powerful and so helpful. So that's really one of the things that I look for in good franchise partners like you, is to be a member of the IFA, because it is so powerful and so helpful. That's fantastic. So what's been one of your most rewarding moments in your business?
Oh man, well, there's a lot of things that come to mind. One, on the home care side, I had gotten my MBA back in 2016. I was asked to come back and speak to the group back in 2019 about business ownership and just some of the experiences with the MBA. And after I was done speaking, I had a woman come up to me and just say, Jerod, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for speaking to us. I want to thank you because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't even be here today. I wouldn't be getting my MBA. And I had never met her personally. And I was like, what, I don't understand. And she said, well, your company provides care to my mother, and I am the primary caregiver. And because of a place at home, they've allowed me the time to go and get my MBA and further my career. And so that was one thing that just hit me like a truck. I was just like, wow, that was amazing. And so much like personal just enjoyment and satisfaction came from that, and really let me know that, gosh, we're doing good things, right? So
you are doing good things.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. But honestly, when I see owners hit different milestones in their business and start to succeed and hit their payback and then start growing, and then it snowballing and getting just the excitement and the recognition that they get in their communities, and all the stories that they have about their caregivers and their reviews that they have online, every single one of those times, it gives that same feeling like, man, we're doing this across the country.
And so tell me about so culture is a big buzzword and something that people look for. So tell
Mhm.
me about the culture and the relationship you have with your franchise owners.
Yeah, it's a very tight knit group. I would consider it a franchise family.
Hmm.
We spend a tremendous amount of time, number one, making sure that we're vetting the people coming into the system and that they're a good fit. We want to make sure they're in line with our We Are Care philosophy: compassionate, accountable, respectful, and ethical. And should they have the right attributes and values, we bring them on board. But we provide the support and training that they need, and because of this,
Hmm.
we're essentially at their beck and call. We talk to franchise owners all the time. They have our cell phone numbers. It's they
Hmm.
love coming to convention. We have owners themselves that hang out with each other outside of a place at home events, that call on each other when they have different questions. We
Hmm.
create a collaborative culture with monthly calls that partner with other franchise owners. So they'll be on a team of franchise owners that we help moderate the conversation. We talk about goals, we talk about accountability and what things they need to complete to get to that next level. So
Hmm.
it's very collaborative. It's a great franchise family. A lot of fantastic communication, a lot of support, not only from us, but from other owners.
Hmm. It's interesting. So I am active in my local chamber of commerce here in Mission Viejo, California. And when COVID hit and I watched everybody trying to help each other, I was I was so proud of being part of the franchise industry because it's so hard for me to help people understand. That a lot of people just don't understand franchising. And when I saw all the things that the IFA was doing and how they were supporting them, I just would say to them on these calls, I'd say, God, I'm so sorry you guys aren't part of the franchise industry because, man, they are working 24/7 to support all the franchisees. So how was
Mhm.
that experience for you?
Yeah. So obviously, COVID, terrible, terrible thing. Affected
Yeah.
so many people in so many different ways you couldn't even imagine, or I couldn't even imagine coming into it, let alone the direct effects with clients and caregivers, employees and
Mhm.
staff, across the country that were affected either directly or indirectly by the disease. So, um, the virus, it was a lot to really fathom. It's something that
Mhm.
kind of uncharted territory for our business and most businesses. However, once we started getting some early signs of change and some issues across the country, we jumped into action. It was actually a franchise owner in Portland, Oregon, Jerome Phillips. He's always really ahead of the curve, very forward thinking. I was just across the border from one of those very first incidences in late February at a nursing home that
Mm.
affected and caused a lot of grief and death within that community. And boy, that popped on his radar. And hey, this is coming. We had direct communication with us, and we started right away securing equipment, PP&E for our owners across the country, which we were able to do
Mhm.
and be able to provide across the country. We helped people secure their PPE loans, making sure that they had the right funding to get them through this period. We did diagnostics on their books to ensure that if there's any additional spending that they were having, that they would
Mhm.
halt it, at least for the time being, to make sure that they could focus on being able to remain profitable, to be able to make sure they could continue
Sure.
running the business and continue employing
Mhm.
people and serving their clients. All the different resources through the IFA, we were immediately a part of, making sure we had the right policies and procedures in place for not only us as a franchise entity, but all of our locations, and giving them materials. I could go on and on with the different types of support. Ultimately, what had
Mhm.
happened with our brand is, and I think most of the country saw this, is in between um, the very end of February, but primarily you're looking at March and into about mid-April or so, was that major impact period when everybody didn't know
Mhm.
what was going on. I don't want
Mhm.
anybody in my home. So things slowed down across the board
Mhm.
in terms of care. However, once we started getting towards the end of April, people started, kind of realizing, okay, this is ways we can still receive care and be safe. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, they still needed care, regardless of
Sure, of
whether COVID
course.
was there or not.
Yeah.
And so incrementally, it started going up and going up and going up and going up. And it has continued to go up ever since then. And we are now
Mhm.
hitting new benchmarks. exceeded our goals for 2020 on where we wanted to be. Our franchise
Wow.
locations, not one of them shut the door. All of them now are doing better than where they were even before COVID. So it was a great exercise for us as a corporate entity and for our local locations on what do you need to do in a crisis moment? How are you going to be there?
That's
How are you
right.
going to support them? And also, how are you going to implement change? Going virtual. That was
Boy, and
something that we
people get
haven't had to
so
do.
afraid of change, right?
Right.
Change is so scary for people, but you guys did a great job.
Yeah. No,
Nice.
it was,
Congratulations.
which obviously we're still living, the COVID,
Hmm.
tragedy. And, but I do feel like things have stabilized as a business and, hours wise increased to heights we had only hoped to see. And so we're headed in a good path.
Nice. I'm really happy to hear that. So, what is one of your favorite success stories with one of your franchise owners?
Um, a lot come to mind. A lot come to mind. So, and, really
That's a nice
there's some,
problem to have, Jerod.
yeah, and there's some personal stories that I would love to share, just on some milestones that people hit. We've had people who joined a place at home that literally, they put their 401k, their home, everything that they had into owning a business,
Hmm.
and now are seeing financial freedom that they hadn't ever seen before, and
Hmm.
those kind of situations are amazing. We have two owners now that own multiple locations. That's something that we had expected to happen, but not happen this early. So within a year to 2 years of business, under 2 years of business, expanding into multiple territories, huge
That's
success stories
fantastic.
there. So that's something that comes to mind. But even something really personal. We had a franchise owner who during COVID wanted to make an impact on a local memory care community. They built a hugging booth. It was a full-size hugging booth that had the
Oh,
screen in front. They were able to put their arms through sleeves, medical grade, disinfected everything along the way. But we're able to then actually get a personal touch from a family member to a client, to not only their client but to someone in their
wow.
community. It made just awesome difference in so many people's lives. So even just that, right? And I've got a lot of
Yes.
stories like that I'd love to be able to share with you, but it's so neat just seeing, the impact that one location had on so many people who hadn't had any kind of physical contact with their family in
Hmm.
months and months and months.
Hmm.
So,
That's
so I couldn't,
fantastic.
yeah,
I think that people don't realize that some of the greatest ideas come from franchise owners. And I think sometimes people get the feeling that a franchise is restrictive and, oh, you just have to do everything they say and you can't bring in your own ideas. And yet we know, being in the industry, that you welcome those ideas after they get the system down and they get everything kind of churning, then you really
sure,
want to share their ideas, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you hit the nail on the head. And we're learning every day. We're learning from our
Hmm.
franchise owners, from the industry, through experiences like COVID. We're always trying to do things to make our system better, and to allow others better resources and tools and strategies.
Hmm.
So most certainly we've learned a lot from our franchise owners. Even another quick example, we had an owner in Orlando, Stephen Sherbin. As soon as the communities got shut down and there was no more like referral marketing that we could do, he started a
Hmm.
mobile snack shack out of the back of his place at home vehicle, wrapped nice, very nice vehicle. Opened up the back, snacks, everything that you could imagine, like a buffet of snacks. And he'd go
Hmm.
and go to a community, allow them to come out, remaining socially distant. Everybody has masks on. They could walk through, they could take the snacks of their choice for the day, take some material on a place at home, and then go back to work, right? In a socially distant way
Nice.
to be able to market. It
Yeah.
innovated immediately the way that we were able to still do referral marketing without actually touching or talking to people. And that was a huge success across our entire brand, which allowed them to grow at a incredible
Oh,
rate
that's
during
fantastic.
COVID. So
Such
very
smart
cool,
guerrilla marketing. Wow.
for
Very
sure.
nice. So, one last question. what are you most proud of?
Let's see. So most proud of, man, that's a really good question. I'm really proud of, my business partner and co-founder Dustin DeStefano, and our business relationship and ability to we've been friends since childhood, and we've been able to work together through on the football field all the way through into college, and then now into business, and be able to manage our both personal and professional lives, all the while keeping our focus on the business and growing. So I'm proud of our ability to continue to do that, because like anything, a partnership is like a marriage. It's not always easy, and we've been able to stay strong and be able to head and lead our company in a fantastic direction, but also know our strengths, who's going to be doing what, and really be able to divide and conquer, and allows us to do things quicker and easier, because we're really focusing on our strengths. So I'm proud of how we've been able to really come together and lead the company throughout these last 8.5 years.
You know what? I think that's fantastic, because partnerships are, as they say, partnerships are difficult at best. And what I'm hearing from you is, not only, it sounds like the two of you, obviously been friends forever. That's number one, is wonderful. But the other thing, it sounds like you've done a really good job, like you say, of dividing and conquering. Okay, this is what I'm really good at. This is what you're really good at. So you're both working in your strengths, and both having autonomy and yet working as a team. I often have people talk about getting a partner, and I always use the budget blinds example, because it was 5, and you probably met those guys, but it was 5 guys, 2 brothers and 3 best friends, and they grew budget blinds to a very big company. But they each put in the same amount of money, and they each had assigned roles. And whenever I coach somebody about having a partnership, that's one of the things I encourage them to do. If you're going to have a partner, they've got to be an acting partner. It really needs to be somebody that you're working together as a team. So that's fantastic. All right. So I got a few rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Who do you most admire in franchising?
Let's see here. Man, I wasn't expecting such difficult questions.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I would
I
say.
told you I wanted people to get to know you.
Yeah. I want to say, there's so many people that I admire, many CEOs that I have met. I will say that all right, so in Omaha, Nebraska, there's 2 companies here that are both headquartered and in-home care franchise entities that have been trailblazers for the industry, and also been supportive of us through our growth. So I would say that Alan Hager with Right at Home, the co-founder of Right at Home, was a fantastic mentor even towards us.
What does that say about franchising? Yeah.
Yeah. So, a competitive franchise entity, both in the in-home care space, but there's room and opportunity for everybody. And
absolutely,
he is who really put franchising into our mindset as a way to grow and scale and to be able to do it effectively. So yeah, I definitely admire him for that, for sure.
Okay. All right. So who has been your best teacher in life?
Oh, it's tough between my grandparents and my parents. I've been very, very, very lucky to have all of them as great coaches and mentors, personally, professionally. All of them have achieved great heights in their own profession, as well as, personally, I want to embody every, aspect of them in my day-to-day life, because, they're just such great people and have everybody's best interests in mind. So it's hard for me to pinpoint any one of them, because they've all just made such an impact on me. But for sure, my immediate family, my grandparents have made a huge impact.
All right. What is your morning routine?
So morning routine. Oh gosh, actually, it's different now than it ever has been. We're building a house, and I'm living with the in-laws. So I don't know if you've
Oh,
ever
well, my kids are
experienced
living with
that,
me, so I get that.
right? So my morning routine is a little bit different now, but my traditional morning routine is wake up, work out, get breakfast ready for the kids, get them off to school, get coffee going for my wife and I, and just kind of spearhead the morning. So that's usually
Awesome.
my morning routine.
I love that. That's really wonderful. And then the last question, what is your best business advice?
Don't overthink it,
Mm, love that. Yep,
right?
I love that.
And analysis, paralysis by analysis. Don't
Get you nowhere, right?
do it. I've fallen victim to that throughout my life in different aspects, just always wanting everything to be perfect or have the exact answer before moving forward. But there is no 100%. There's not always a clear cut yes or no, a right way or wrong way. At some point, you just gotta to cut bait or fish.
And just do it, right?
I'd rather be fishing.
Good for you. I love that. Well, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I realize in retrospect, I should have had both of you. So Dustin, I'm sorry. You want to poke his head in and say hi?
Dustin,
Come here,
come here real
Dustin.
quick. Here.
Dustin, I'm so sorry. I should have
Here we
had you
got,
on this interview. Come here. He's coming in. I see him.
Phyllis wanted to say hello.
Hey, Phyllis, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? I'm sorry. I should have had both of you on this interview. Get down just a little bit so we can see your whole head.
Oh,
There you go. This
don't
is
mind
Dustin.
the handlebars. This is just temporary.
Of course. Hey, everybody's doing it.
I know.
Thank you so much.
It looks like a 1980s
I know.
cowboy.
There you go. I'm really proud of what you guys have done. Thank you so much for your time. I've really appreciated it. And that's a wrap. Thank you. This is Phyllis Pieri, the franchise lady. So excited to have introduced you to Jerod and Dustin. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.